Lucasfilm has been on a roll with Star Wars lately, as we come off the heels of a brilliant Obi-Wan Kenobi and brace ourselves for Andor. But further down the line, we've got the much-anticipated Ahsoka series as well. And according to Rosario Dawson, the show could finally uncover the mysterious disappearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Could he actually fight Ahsoka though? Or has he changed his ways? Well, keep watching to find out. First up, Dave Filoni finally gets the spotlight with Ahsoka. Anakin's Padawan has always been one of those characters that never really got the attention that she deserved. We mean, she was basically limited to the animated shows and movies before her live-action debut in The Mandalorian. But still, you would have guessed that someone would have mentioned her apart from Rebels or the Clone Wars, right? Well, the thing with that is that Dave Filoni, despite being the man to lead Star Wars into the modern age, hasn't really gotten the applause that he deserves. Like, he's responsible for bringing so many amazing new characters into the franchise while being faithful to the source material. And many fans would even go as far as to say that he's carrying the torch forward for the series creator. Now, the challenge with Ahsoka's always been to bring her into the live-action material without it making look like she's been forced into the plot. Also, since her connection to the Skywalker family is so strong, she can't just be a one-off cameo character either. So, a lot of work had to go into casting her and making her character look remotely comparable to the animated shows. Admittedly, it did take Rosario Dawson some time to adjust to the role, and there's been a lot of trial and error with the way she looks as well. But now that everything's sorted, Filoni's been given the green light to make a series based on one of his own creations, which again has been a long time coming. Up next, Ahsoka will look for Grand Admiral Thrawn in the series. For those who don't know, Ahsoka's essentially a spin-off series that continues her quest after the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. And in those shows, she had one objective: to look for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, Thrawn's one of those characters who've always been on the edge of the Star Wars lore without getting the chance to fully go mainstream. In a way, you could even say that he goes hand in hand with Anakin's former Padawan. Also, again, it's not the easiest thing in the world to bring him to life due to his dark blue alien skin. Like, obviously, they could just put on a bit of makeup on the actor, but the real challenge is to make him not look goofy. The Grand Inquisitor, for instance, was one of those characters who just turned into a weird bald dude in his live-action form, rather than a menacing Jedi hunter. Coming back to Thrawn though, it's been a while since we've seen him, even if you look at it chronologically. As a matter of fact, the Grand Admiral's last appearance was probably during the fall of the Empire, after that whole thing with Ezra Bridger. So now, Ahsoka's on a mission to track down the missing dude and make him spit out some answers about the Rebels' protagonist. That said, we never actually got any official confirmation about Thrawn's return. Besides, it's not uncommon for Star Wars creators to keep those surprises under wraps anyway. Now, Rosario Dawson teases a potential fight with Thrawn. Alright, so we kinda have an idea that Ahsoka will be looking for Thrawn in the series, but in what capacity will he show up? We mean, for all intents and purposes, he could just be a homeless dude suffering alone on a remote planet. After all, it's not like he can go back to the Empire now. Plus, we're not sure that the Rebel Alliance is gonna take him back into their ranks either. To be fair, we could speculate about this for days. Well, we could have done had Rosario Dawson not given us the most subtle hint about what's to come. Speaking at the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, the Ahsoka actor seemed like she was on fire and kept answering question after question about the upcoming series. And while most of them did not have any spoilery stuff, one of these fan queries about the former Grand Admiral stood out to her. Oh, and she didn't hold back on that one either. In fact, she went all in and took the audience on a wild ride. You know, just to keep them guessing. She started off by saying that the dude's obviously incognito, and finding him's gonna be like looking for a needle in a haystack. But then she brought in some MCU references by suggesting that perhaps Scarlet Witch could come in and pull him from another multiverse. After that, she confirmed that Ahsoka will probably track him down in the series. Also, Star Wars Rebels fans have a lot to look forward to in Ahsoka. With Thrawn's appearance in Ahsoka all but confirmed, there are a couple more things that we can safely anticipate in the series. Like, from this point, it's pretty much a straight line toward where we're going. Oh, and Rebels fans, you're definitely in for a treat because apparently a lot of your favorite characters are gonna make their live-action debuts in the upcoming show. For instance, there are obviously some pretty consistent rumors around Thrawn's casting, with the likes of Benedict Cumberbatch slated to become the Grand Admiral. At the same time though, we also have an idea that Disney's currently auditioning for other roles like Sabine, Chopper, and Hera Syndulla as well. So yeah, exciting times ahead if you're a Star Wars Rebels fan. Even if you haven't watched the animated series though, we can guarantee that it's going to be great because, again, Dave Filoni doesn't miss. Plus, these characters that he has created are some of the best in any Star Wars media we've seen so far. We mean, obviously, they couldn't fulfill their full potential due to the fact that they were in a show that was mainly targeted towards kids. But now that they're being brought to life, you could potentially see them put into a more serious and darker mold. That said, are we gonna see Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka? Talking about some of these characters from Rebels is obviously exciting. Besides, with a lot of them not being humans per se, there's the whole visual element too. One character that probably won't have that problem though is the main dude, Ezra Bridger himself. Now, while his appearance hasn't been confirmed by anyone officially, Filoni has kinda teased his return a couple of times during Star Wars Celebration. Also, we've heard some rumblings in the rumor mill about potential casting for the role as well. Having said that, whoever gets cast is gonna have some pretty massive shoes to fill. After all, despite not appearing on any live-action stuff, he's still one of the most important characters in the franchise. Plus, there's the whole talk about the Ahsoka series essentially being the spiritual successor to Rebels, which again would mean that he could get the center stage at some point. As a matter of fact, after the former Jedi finds him on her quest, we could see the show turn into a full-fledged Ezra series. At the same time, let's not get carried away with this just yet. Like, we know that all of these things are probably lined up in Filoni's mind, but most of it comes down to how the audience reacts to these shows, and if people don't like Ahsoka, then we could actually see them cancel the run and move on to other things instead. And finally, when can we expect to watch Ahsoka on our TVs? Okay, so this is obviously the million-dollar question. After all, the series has been in the works for quite some time now, and it's been, what, over a year since that reveal? So surely it's not too far off, right? Well, figuring that out isn't actually as easy as it sounds. Like, we know that they've officially wrapped up the filming process, and now Lucasfilm's doing its magic to add all the insane CGI stuff to it, and usually that's something that only takes a few months to finish. With that said, this year's already stacked with Star Wars stuff ranging from Andor all the way to the Tales of the Jedi. Plus, we're getting a healthy dose of spin-off shows like The Bad Batch Season 2 in the middle as well. So yeah, at this point, it's got probably more to do with scheduling than actually finishing the series. If we were to make any educated guesses though, we'd say that Ahsoka's probably going to come out after or during the spring of 2023. Why? Well, because apparently everything's already booked until February, and after that, we aren't getting much in the way of live-action Star Wars. And that means that unless Disney's about to throw the old curveball and bamboozle us, it'd be safe to assume that Ahsoka is the one that's lined up after The Mandalorian Season 2. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think that we'll see Ezra Bridger at some point in the show? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.